finally, with the necessary fuel in place, all the vehicles ready to go, you were moving to the massive depot to set up your new base at Sestakova. At first, everything went well. You even passed through the heavily wooded area that you felt would be the main spot for an ambush without incident. But towards the end of your journey, disaster struck. You noticed a T-72 hiding somewhere in the woods, but before you could do anything about it, the Bradley at the front of the convoy exploded in a pillar of flame, its turret lifting off of the hull and flipping in the air. Towards the rear of the convoy, you were dimly aware of the sound of a large explosion, presumably the Bradley at the rear of the convoy, also detonating. A few other vehicles have exploded in front of you and behind you. Desperate servicemen leaping out of burning trucks. And you are aware of the presence of a hind somewhere to your rear, closing fast, having already let off one salvo of rockets at a section of the convoy. It is a moment of chaos, indecision, and complete surprise. It is, however, your initiative. What is your plan?
I
will carry on.
So I have a question before we get going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are the NPC soldiers in this convoy going to be engaged in the combat as well?
Oh, yes, they will. I'll be taking care of all of that. Some of it will be abstracted and macroed, but they will be taking part.
Okay, good.
I've moved to the token layer, the T-72 that you have spotted. I am pointing at it.
That's quite a ways away.
Actually, Dalton as well, because you're up in spotting positions and so forth. Dalton, can please give me a flat recon roll.
Flat recon roll. I'd open my sheets. Hang on a second.
Of course.
Recon, where's it? Oh, there it is.
I just get yellow back. Breaker and the Aerotail back to get on the main gun.
Okay. Dalton, you get the feeling that this can't possibly be all of it, but with your recon you have noticed soldiers here and here. I've moved them to the token layer. You should be able to see them.
I don't see anything.
I'll point arrows at them again. Here. And here.
I'm not seeing anything, so I don't know.
Oh, okay, that's strange. I'll go to the objects and tokens. Yeah, no, they're on the objects and tokens layer. That is strange. But anyway, okay, they are there. I'll try and fix that quietly in the background. But yes, so Mac, you were talking about people getting on the main gun. Anything else?
I would suggest our sharpshooter does his best to get into a position to take out a few people.
Okay, there we go. I should have now put them on the appropriate layer.
Yeah, I'm not.
And there.
Oh, they're okay. I see where you're pointing, but I don't see the.
Oh,
they blended in.
Okay, they blended in, but they should be there. I'll move one to a hex without woods. There, see it now?
Oh, okay. I was looking for the red. Yeah, I see them.
Ah.
I had to zoom way in.
Yeah,
okay.
they blend.
They do blend in. Yeah, with only one recon.
I suggest
yeah. Alas, red tokens will not be used at this time. But don't worry, you'll. Yeah. Anyway, so Mac. Well, it's that was your idea. Dalton, it's your initiative though. You are currently sitting in the BMP. What do you want to do?
my skills are better used on the ground than they are in the vehicle.
Yep.
So I am going to. I'm gonna disembark the vehicle and go prone, like right next to the vehicle on the ground right here.
Fantastic. I
Facing
should point
toward.
out that this. Excellent. I should point out that this brown strip on either side of the road is a drainage ditch. Like you can, it would provide cover.
Yeah, that's. I kind of was hoping that was the case. So yeah, that's the case. I'm gonna get in the ditch right here.
All right.
Aiming, facing this guy here.
Okay. Token. Excellent, and I'll give you the cover sign. Opening the door and moving to that position will take your entire turn, but you will be in a good position for next time. Okay, so you jump out of the BMP amidst the chaos, and you dive into a sodden, wet drainage ditch from the rain in the previous couple of nights. You're caked in mud, but you are at least in good cover. We now move to Wolf. Wolf, what do you want to do?
So there's a drainage ditch, right?
Yes, there is, on either side of the road.
Okay, wherever the tank fire is coming from, I want to put the tank facing that way.
Okay, do you want to stay in your current position in the convoy, or do you want to try and go around or anything? I should point out that most people have just slammed on their brakes, including yourself. Everyone is currently at a stop.
We're sitting ducks, so I will move to uh I can't move anyway.
Oh, if you're unable to move the token, I apologize. Tell me where,
No,
and I'll move it, and then try and...
no, it's not that. It's just So, the
You know that the tank fire so far appears to be coming from sort of this direction, and the vapor trails of RPGs and so forth are all coming from somewhere to the north.
Okay, I'm going to drive the tank into the ditch over this side.
Into the ditch. Okay, the ditch is narrower than the vehicle. You will just be astride it, unless... So it can't really provide you with cover. The ditch isn't that big, but you can certainly drive to that position. And unless you try to cross the ditch, I won't make you do a driving roll.
I'm not going to cross the ditch, but it's going to give us some at least somebody to just fire back.
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. You can fire back from there.
I would suggest somebody, Draco and Sarah Turback, to get on the gun. One reloads and
Absolutely.
the other fire.
Okay, and on that theme, it's then Soboslau's turn. Soboslau has not received clear instructions about what to load, but god damn it, there's a T-72 over there. Load AP, load AP. So, Soboslau loads a round of AP into the 72mm cannon. It is now Dr. Rostogram's turn. Dr. Rostogram, what do you do? Okay. Yeah, you can give me a flat recon roll. Okay, 2 successes. I'm going to reveal a little bit more in terms of enemy deployment. I just have to go to GM layer for a minute. So somebody there. And I'm also going to reveal this one. Okay, so what you have noticed is yet more personnel in the clump of trees really close to you. So far, you've noticed one person with an RPG, one person with a PKM, and you have also just noticed the BMP sitting up there in the tree line. That would only have been like a swift. Do you want to stay in the vehicle, or you've still got some action left if you want to do stuff? Excellent. Okay, that takes us to Sarah Tolbeck's turn. Team, what do you want Sarah Tolbeck to do? She's on the gun, but it's effectively which target do you shoot at? Okay, I will caution you. AP is loaded, as in armor penetration, anti-tank rounds, but that's absolutely...
the tank. Either the chopper or the tank. I'll leave it up to you two.
Your gunner knows, like Sarah Tolbeck, if you suggest the chopper, will just look at you as though you are insane. That like this turret turning round its main gun on a helicopter, it's not gonna happen.
I would suggest the tank, the BMP.
Oh, the BMP. So the armor personnel carrier, not the tank. Okay, all right.
Yes,
fine.
dude,
Yeah, that's an absolutely valid plan. So I will just quickly roll. Let me see off of the sheet. So it's going to be at negatives. Yeah. Oh,
I'm going to be AFK for just a second.
Of course. All right, so she takes careful aim at the BMP and fires. The shot rockets out, and you are vaguely aware of something going dong as it hits the front armor of the BMP. Please roll me a d10. Fantastic. That's a 7, which means that... All right, so the shot boom, goes out. Sarah Tolbeck seems to give a little yes noise under her breath with her eye on the alien Soviet scope, as she is aware that she has hit the target. However, it appears to have no immediate visible effect. But you do know that the target has been hit. That is Sarah Tolbeck's turn. Which means we go back round to Buzz Dalton. Whilst we're waiting for him to arrive, I'll set out what else happens. So, things are in a state of confusion and panic. The crew who forced to bail out of burning vehicles are diving into the drainage ditches as best they can. Up ahead of you, in fact, very shortly ahead of you, see another one of the trucks just erupt in flames as an RPG launches out from a nearby set of trees and impacts this truck, destroying it instantly. Most of the occupants are immediately killed. You see one or two people sort of try and jump out of the back. One of them's on fire, desperately trying to put himself out. However, he has no chance to do so, as the handful of survivors are immediately gunned down by machine gun fire as they're clambering out of the back. They stood no chance whatsoever. You are also aware dimly of the sound of explosion somewhere behind you. Up ahead, you notice your Abrams, the best and meanest tank in this part of the world, seems to be unaffected by the blast that explodes off of the side of it as it has taken RPG fire. Its turret slowly turns to face the tree line and fires at a foe that you have not seen. Meanwhile, other vehicles appear to be starting to either panic or act sensibly. The M60 near the front of the convoy. The M60 tank turns and starts to try and drive off of the road before suddenly something in its front explodes and its tracks roll off of the tank. It is stuck. A truck driver panics and tries to go off around the side. However, his vehicle is not built for this. His wheels bog down in the ground and he is stuck. And behind you, you are again aware of the sound of an Abrams main cannon firing, effect unknown. Everyone in the team can now give me a recon roll. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. You don't get the extra information, but you do notice.
Don't forget intelligence.
I know that. But alas, there's a thing you physically had to see in order to get the intelligence, and you just don't get it. You do, however, notice the Hind coming in from the rear of the convoy, flying not too low, but low enough, and it's sweeping along at great speed. Some rockets lance out from underneath its wings. How does this thing still have rockets? It's like aviation fuel. Smacks into some vehicles, and just going to do some rolls in the background. Uh-oh. Okay, you notice that one of you sort of like looks out of an observation port in the cupula or something along those lines. The rocket hits the Abrams in the rear of the convoy. It appears to still be moving and functional. However, the Abrams is trailing smoke. It has been damaged. Meanwhile, the Hind moves forward to here. Poof, in the air above you all, flying straight down the line. And we now wait for Dalton's return. All right. We'll skip Dalton for the moment, and we'll come back to Dalton. Wolf, you're in the BMP. You're aware of what has just happened. The smell of fire and smoke is detectable even through the semi-sealed environment of the BMP. It's hot. It's loud. What do you do?
Okay, he knows that. Hmm. Where's that? He would mention that to the doctor that there are people out there getting injured. And where's the soldier that we actually took aboard with us?
Holbeck, she's on the gun.
Yeah, oh, the other soldier, the nervous one.
Oh, him. Yeah, he's just going to be like in the passenger compartment.
I get him to help the doctor, just safeguard her,
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. We got some family drama that's going on. So.
These things happen. The convoy's taken some further damage, but you are, relatively intact. And once Wolf's turn has ended, we'll just do your turn.
Um. Hmm. I got a. Hmm. Can I fire anything from where I am?
You're in a driver's compartment, no.
Yeah. Okay. All I can do is drive and go and squish some people.
I mean, that is something that you could, in theory, do. I will, however, tell you that is difficult.
Yeah. My best bet is staying where I am and.
Absolutely. It makes the gunner's job easier.
Yeah. It is the gunner's opportunity, but I'll radio through to get majority of our fighting force to actually do a shield drive in the ditch itself, so that we can actually do a fire back
Okay.
at the enemy.
All right. You give out that suggestion on the radio. We'll wait for a moment to see what the result is. You are aware that on the radio are lots of people calling things in a state of, shall we say, agitation, but not panic. They're managing to maintain discipline on the radio, at least for now. Okay, Dalton, you're out, you're in cover, you're in the ditch, you're facing north. What do you want to do?
I want to take aim at the RPG guy that's straight in front of the BMP. Yep, and then take a shot.
Absolutely. It'll be -1 due to his cover. I think you're probably still within your first range increment, so that should be that.
All right. Here's the roll.
Oh, wow. Okay. That will put your rifle over its critical threshold. So you just take a careful, slow aim, squeeze the trigger, and take, well, I don't know if you take satisfaction, but you realize that this person is certainly dead from the way that his body just falls, that he's gone. And you know this to be true.
It meets my moral code.
Yep. Yeah, it was instant.
Right.
So that RPG soldier is dead.
And that would be my turn, I think.
Yep, absolutely. You could, in theory, crawl a little further somewhere if you wanted to, but you don't have to.
No, my next target will be the guy with the RPG. They're not the PKM or whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we've done Wolf. Soboslaw isn't here. Do you want Soboslaw to load HE or AT? In the absence of instructions, Soboslaw will keep loading AT.
Basically, load whatever in there so we can get rid of the tank at the thing at the end.
All right. Loads an anti-tank round. You are aware that after you have fired this anti-tank round, you will have one anti-tank round left. Okay, so it's loaded without issue. Dr. Rostogram, what do? You are in the back of the APC. Can't really hear hugely what's going on outside, other than the sound of explosions. The sound of the metal of your BMP and the sound of the engine drowns out pretty much everything else. But your imagination, your mind's ear, could certainly fill in the sounds of people in pain from what you've been able to see of them climbing out of flaming vehicles and being gunned down as they do so by machine gun fire. Yeah, it's true. I'll also say, yeah, this is very true. Also, you can make a recon roll, ranged combat roll, or command roll, your choice, and I'll give you a little piece of extra information. Okay, all right, you do not get that little piece of extra information. Okay. Do you do that? Agreeable? Of course. Okay. I'll put your token here as you clamber out of the back of the BMP. However, as you do so, you trigger Overwatch Prepared Fire, because the little piece of extra information I was going to give you is they love making the crew bail out of vehicles and then gunning them down. That's sort of what you try and do in this situation. So a PKM was trained on the back, and a machine gun fire rattles out in your direction. I'll do some rolls. Yeah, this has just been straight. Okay, you take a hit from a PKM. Single hit. Let's see. It is. You take 2 damage. It does not get into its critical threshold, but you take 2 damage as you leap out of the back, and a burst of machine gun fire rattles over you, and one of the rounds just takes some muscle off your left arm, but doesn't go into an artery, doesn't go into a bone. And please make a cool under fire as you have been hit. Okay, you fail. For the put in a B in the unit, because I don't think that one picked up the unit one. However, in fact, you can re-roll that because you only rolled 1 dice. You should roll 2. Okay, you still fail. So you're forced to immediately seek cover. So I'll just put you here in the trench, and you go into cover. You flop down on your belly. You're in full hard cover, but you are currently unable to do anything else as you are pinned and overwhelmed by sudden anxiety, nerves, a little bit of fear. Also, mark a point of stress on your sheet. Excellent. It is now Sarah Tolbeck's turn. Do you want her to continue to fire at the damaged BMP?
Yes.
All right. Settlement will go up to B, but the ranges will still mean the rest is like that. Okay, so boom! Sarah Tolbeck is aware that she lands yet another hit on the BMP across the way from you. Please roll a d10. Okay, that's a 10. All right. So again, she's aware that there has been a hit. There's a little, spark, maybe a little flash of smoke, but the BMP itself appears to still visibly unaffected. You're hitting it. You're pretty sure you're penetrating it, but whatever you are doing isn't causing critical damage. And it is now Dalton's turn. Dalton, you have killed your previous target. You're lying down in the drainage ditch, and Rostogram has just dove to the floor next to you, sort of head on her hands. Sorry, hands on her head.
I would check to see if she's badly injured first.
Okay, I'll
and
give
render
you that for free. You
Okay.
are aware that she's bleeding, but it's nothing arterial, nothing's broken.
Okay. And then I would, I guess I'd try to figure out where the shots that hit her came from.
Okay,
I'm guessing it's
they came.
guessing
Sorry.
I'm guessing it's from, and I'm for some reason it's not letting me ping anymore.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was that guy.
All right, and I'm guessing I don't have line of sight to him because of the BMP and the wrecked deuce and a half.
I mean that one thing doesn't take up the whole, as in this Humvee doesn't take up the whole 10 meter square hex. So I'll let you take that shot, and it would be at meters -1 again.
Okay, so it'd be take aim first.
Yep.
And then fire.
Alas. So the round goes wide, and you don't know what effect you had on him. I'll just now detail what happens in the wider combat of the helicopter rotor blades as the Hind continues to sweep along the convoy. It is now approximately here. Hear the rattle of its cannons fire as it appears to be doing damage, and the Humvee here erupts into flame in front of you. Erupts into flame in front of you. Unfortunately, do not see anybody who would presumably have been inside the vehicle bail out. Only assume that their deaths were, if not instant, quick. And you're also aware of the sound of some of the belt-fed ammunition for the 50 caliber machine gun starting to cook off in the heat. As the Hind sweeps along. In the meantime, the Abrams towards the rear of your convoy fires another round into the woods, effect unknown. The M60 towards the front of the convoy, the M60 tank, takes a few RPG hits from unusual angles. It still seems intact, but it's smoking. The Abrams to the front of the convoy takes a few more hits, but is unaffected as it turns and keeps firing to the north. The truck that tried to go off-road and get round the obstruction is still stuck. It is bogged down. And a civilian truck, well, it was a civilian truck. It's currently got NATO drivers, is attempting to do a similar thing. It tries three-pointing in the road, turning around and trying to go around the Abrams. It, however, gets stuck in the ditch as it does so. Its wheels not suited to that kind of maneuver. And generally, the NATO troops who have bailed out or who are on foot are returning small arms fire with moderate effect. They are receiving quite a bit of machine gun fire, and you are aware that your infantry are on the losing end of this exchange. Ulf, it is your turn.
I would yell across the radios to get our infantry into the ditches itself to get more cover to return fire and to provide so that we don't lose any more men.
Okay, all right. Yep, the infantry that are bailing out or otherwise getting out of trucks are doing much the same thing. You are aware at this point of the voice of the Major coming across the radio, and she is ordering all available forces that are able to move and that are not armored move to the south. Woodland appears to be not occupied. Armored vehicles are to remain and provide cover, and then move off back towards Sestakova once the wheeled vehicles and infantry have moved off. That is her order. Whether you follow those orders is up to you. So yeah, what do you do, Wolf?
Basically, he's gonna provide at least cover for anyone who's trying to get into the trenches to move, not get hit by any fire.
Okay, all right. So are you trying to like use the vehicle as a shield?
Yeah,
Okay, make me a driving roll to see how that goes. Just flat.
just flat.
Yeah, just flat. All right. So you are shifting around the BMP in an effort to try and shield as many people as is possible. Unfortunately, as you're doing so, sort of angle it so as that one of your tracks is entirely in the drainage ditch, one of your tracks is entirely not, and you go dunk, and the whole vehicle slumps to the side. You are aware that you are not permanently stuck. With some clever maneuvering, you could get out of this. You are, however, now in a disadvantageous position.
Can I get myself out of it?
Can, but on your next initiative. That took your initiative.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So Sobislaw has got a few HE rounds and one armor penetrating round, one anti-tank round. Do you want to load your last anti-tank round?
No. Try the other one.
Okay. Okay, so you load your high explosive round. That is successfully loaded. Prostogram, you are currently laying face down in a muddy, damp ditch. The sound of machine gun fire whistling over your head and the calm, measured firing of Dalton a little way off to your side. Since you have not taken further fire, I'm going to say that you come out, especially since you're in full cover, of your pin status, but it will consume a lot of your initiative. So you can do something small this turn. Absolutely. Make that recon roll. You can make it flat. Okay. You are aware, you don't outright see the person, but you see muzzle flashes, because they also have pretty good recon rolls, of some kind of enemy fire coming from here. They are not firing at you, though. They're firing at other targets. And also, it seems like most of the clumps of trees on the north side of the road have got some kind of hostile force in them. Also notice something interesting when you hesitantly look up at the thudding noise of the hind. Now that it's this close to you, see that the hind does not have Soviet Army insignia painted on it. And as you look really, really closely, you see Polish Army insignia.
I would respond back. How do you know? How do you know? On the bogey or whatever, yeah. Well, at this point, they've destroyed a bunch of our vehicles, so we just have to keep defending ourselves.
Absolutely. All right. It is Sarah Tolbeck's turn. What target do you want her to fire at?
Let's go and try and get that vehicle again.
With high explosive round. I
Yeah.
will tell you it is not built for that, but You can try. It is technically possible.
Or can we shoot the helicopter?
I'm gonna say that Sarah Tolbeck is aware that the gun's like maximum angle of elevation probably isn't gonna hit the helicopter.
Okay, I would hmm.
How high is the helicopter flying? We should be able to. Are we
That's
actually able
true.
to see it at this point?
Oh yes, you are. I mean, it is. Yeah, absolutely. It is low enough to the ground. Hence, one of the reasons why it's so effective. That it could, in theory, take small arms fire, but it's likely to be ineffective.
Yeah, because it's highly armored.
Yeah. And crucially, it's also, whilst it may be relatively low, it is moving fast.
Because of the armor piercing ammo that went into the the tank twice, can she hit that same spot again and explode within them round where she hit?
You know what? I'm going to let you do that. However, it is going to be like a miracle shot. She is going to be rolling at such ridiculously high negatives that if you make it, I will be stunned.
Should we do it or not?
You have other targets available as well.
We could start a fire with them.
All right. Okay. We'll take the shot. All right. Sarah Tolbeck will make that shot. I'm gonna hang on. I'll do it off the BMP sheet.
To make maximum damage of burning the hole.
Okay. So the round just goes, and it snakes off into the trees. You are aware of it hitting something, but quite some way back, and it has no immediate visible impact on the combat.
Okay.
All right. This ends that particular round of initiative. Before it comes back round to Dalton, all of the NPCs will act. So, again, your Abrams at the front and rear of the convoys appear to be doing well. You are benefiting from the fact that these are probably much more modern tanks than whatever it is your enemy are bringing. Various vehicles obey the Major's order and turn south and try their best to gun it. Some of them don't get past the ditch. Some of them get a little bit into the fields and start bogging down anyway. But nonetheless, there's a mixture of successes. Some of them do get further than others. And as they start bogging down, and I'm only going to how to phrase it, as they start bogging down, troops start jumping out and then sprinting or crawling as best they can toward the tree line, the south. In the meantime, machine gun fire and RPG fire continues to come from trees very close to you. You are aware of more NATO troops dying, more casualties, and the Hind is streaking along the convoy. And as it is going along, it fires at the next important target in its line, which is your BMP. And due to your maneuvering and the difficult position that you are in, it is firing at your BMP's rear armor. Let's see how this goes. I'll roll this in the open so there can be no shenaniganery. So in minus, yes, it'll be that. Oh, turn off GM roll. So it's going to be, yeah. Boop. Okay, that is a hit. Let's. Yep. Okay. Roll a d10. Okay, so hang on, that can't be right. No, it is. So you are trying to get your BMP out of this awkward position that you jammed it in the drainage ditch lengthways. You can hear the sound of the helicopter coming closer. The very fact that you can hear the rotor blades over the engine means that it's goddamn close. However, a moment or two before you hear that noise, there is an ear-shattering explosion. The entire vehicle goes and lurches to the side. You're thrown forward and smack your fortunately helmeted head off of the metal in front of you, dazing you for a few moments. You have the immediate stinging sensation. This is everybody inside the BMP. You have the immediate stinging sensation of small pieces of metal just lancing you in the back. Everybody who's inside the BMP can take 1 point of physical damage. Fortunately, this wasn't a very good hit. You are aware again of the sound of ripping and screeching metal. Rustagram and Dalton, outside, you will see a rocket slam into the back of your BMP. There's a blinding flash. And then a moment or two later, as your senses return, the BMP itself seems remarkably intact, but just see from your angle that the side of the tracks that is in the ditch, the track has shattered and some of the wheels have fallen off. As the Hind continues to lance along the convoy. Dalton, it is your turn.
Well, knowing that they're Polish and not being sure whether or not they know we're NATO or not, two actions that I kind of think I need to pick. One is to try to get to the BMP and pull people out and get the radio to make contact with the other side to see if they know who they're attacking. Or do I just continue firing at stuff? So
what do the party think?
I mean, I'd be worried about the vehicle catching fire after being struck. Fire leading to the magazine exploding and killing everybody on board eventually. So yeah. We somehow got to get in touch with the other side too to make sure they know who they're shooting at, because if they're Polish, and I'm not real sure what side the Polish were on in this war to begin with, but I wonder if they know who they're attacking.
Yeah, I'll recap what the sort of.
That
is a
also.
good thought. I'll recap the allegiance of the Polish generally, which is at the beginning of the war, they were a neutral but NATO-friendly state. They were not actually part of NATO, however, who were invaded by Russia as they were attempting to restore Soviet land and Soviet territory under a political excuse that Soviets and ethnic Russians were being persecuted by the Polish government. The Poles then, of course, fought against the Russians, and NATO assisted them. However, as the war went from a conventional war into the beginning of the end of the world, allegiances kind of broke down. And even from the beginning, NATO didn't really care about Poland. Poland was more just a pawn in the middle of the game. And to say that there is such a thing as an allegiance of the Polish army is now untrue. It's more, what is the allegiance of this Polish regiment? What is the allegiance of this Polish battalion? Do they back the Reds? Do they back NATO? Are they on their own? Is it more complicated than that? So, yeah, the situation as far as Polish allegiance is often question mark.
Yeah, they probably aren't NATO-friendly people. And clearly we got NATO colors on us, so they can clearly see that we're actually NATO as well.
It is very obvious that your convoy is comprised almost entirely of NATO vehicles.
Huh. Well, I think the better action would be is to try and get the 3 crewmen out of the BMP before it catches fire, and then take cover and get them into cover and myself into cover again.
Absolutely. You can make me a mobility roll for how well that goes. Again, just flat.
Mobility.
Okay, that is successful. I will allow you to identify one crewman or one roughly human weighing piece of kit that you can drag out of the BMP absolutely successfully without difficulty.
So Tolbeck is in the turret.
Yep.
Wolf is in the driver's seat, and Soboslaw is inside the vehicle.
That is correct. Also in the turret, loading.
Yeah, but she's down inside, or he's down inside the turret, where Tolbeck is actually probably at the commander's cupola.
Yeah. They'll be
It
inches
probably
apart
would
from
be
each other,
easiest.
but yeah.
It probably would be easiest for me to get Tolbeck out first because I wouldn't have to actually enter the vehicle.
Okay, all right, absolutely. In that case, I'll take Tolbeck's token and put it out here, and I'll say that with that good mobility roll, that you and Tolbeck, if you want, are able to both make it to the southern drainage ditch.
Okay.
All right, so Dalton has heroically dashed forward and dragged somebody out of a potentially soon-to-be burning BMP. Dolph, before you do anything, please make me a cool under fire roll.
Sweet. Combat.
Yeah. Okay, you pass. You're able to do what you want to do.
Yeah, out of the driver's seat into get out of the back.
Okay,
Out of the
all right.
tank itself.
Yeah, are you... Carry on.
He's gonna jump into the drainage, and he's gonna tell Draco to follow when
right.
and he's gonna use some of the fire to throw back into the he's gonna make sure to get his radio, but he's gonna just throw some fire into the where the ammunition is, so they can slowly explode it out.
Oh, are you going to purposely detonate the ammunition inside the BMP?
He's gonna throw some fire into the BMP so it can explode out that way, so he can run across.
All right.
Quickly.
I will let you do that. Do you have tech? You can roll tech. Okay, with the one success, you'll get this. So you know that if you just throw a bit of fire in amongst the ammunition, assuming the ammunition has been stored properly, there are things there that are designed to make it not go up instantly. It will go up eventually. Those kinds of safety measures, at best, delay rather than prevent the explosion. You also know with that tech roll that when it explodes, you don't want to be anywhere near main gun ammunition going off.
Yeah, he's gonna keep the safeties on so he's got enough time to get away from it.
There is no safety in what you are doing here. Once you throw the
Yeah.
fire in, it is random when it goes up.
Yeah. He throws it in just to.
All right.
Mm,
All right. That is done. That will be your whole initiative. You've done a lot in this round. And because you're throwing something in next to, in like really close to the BMP through the rear compartment, you're going to have to be in the northern drainage ditch to do this.
yep.
All right. You are there. I'll put you. Yeah, you're in the square next to the BMP. Okay. Soboslav's turn. Since Soboslav's been ordered to bail out, it makes no difference whether or not he does a cool under fire roll, because if he fails, he bails out. So Soboslav obeys orders and bails out, heading for the southern drainage ditch, and then he dives in headfirst to join up with the rest of you all. Rostogram, it is your turn. Everybody's bailing out of the BMP, and you swear that you just saw the Commodore throw some burning material inside. Other than yourself, everyone seems relatively okay. Everybody who's come out of the BMP has taken minor damage, but it's nothing that's actively getting worse right now. Yep, no, that's a freebie. Absolutely, you can make me a ranged combat roll at +2, just to see how that goes. Okay, you fire towards the enemy. You do not know what effect that had. That will be your initiative. Okay, Sarah Tolbeck. Sarah Tolbeck is already in the trench. Well, not the trench, the drainage ditch. She has her wits about her, turns with her M60 and fires north again to provide suppressive fire, and the effect of that is unknown. We now turn to general progress of the combat. The Hind continues to fly along the convoy, taking its path of utter destruction. And it then fires yet another rocket, this time at your lead Abrams. And it will do, and I'll have this out. Yeah. Okay, it hits. And right, okay, so its rocket streams out, smacks into the side armor of the Abrams. The Abrams, again, trails a little bit of smoke, and with the Eye of Faith, the smoke, you can see that there is a hole in the side armor of the Abrams. It has been penetrated. It doesn't go up like a Roman candle or anything along those lines, but a little while later, the Abrams has been firing at a relatively reliable rate. It is not firing anymore. The Hind streaks forward, and more vehicle fire comes from the far northern line of trees, damaging, let me see, yes, damaging a few of the civilian trucks towards the rear, and also causing the M60 tank, which had gone off the road to the north, to seemingly freeze and stop all movement and motion as it is hit a few more times. There continues to be an exchange of small arms fire. The NATO troops in the trench are doing their best to suppress the various enemies in the trees close to the road, whilst infantry are bailing out of the various vehicles that are getting stuck in the southern field and are running hell for leather for the southern tree line. But it will take them a little while to get there. Dalton, it's your initiative. Oh, I'm also going to roll. I'll roll a d3. Pray it's not a 3. Okay. Dalton, what do you do?
I see the Commodores in the ditch behind the BMP, knowing that there's 2 machine gun nests directly to the front and to the left. I'm going to switch my sniper rifle to to automatic fire.
Okay.
I'm going to aim at
That one?
the guy straight ahead.
Yep.
And I'm going to give him a small burst.
Make me that roll at just -1 for his cover. Okay, you hit. You don't go past the damage threshold for a critical because of his cover. You are aware that this man is wounded. You see some blood, but he is still alive.
Okay, and I'm trying to provide cover so that Wolf can get to our side of the road.
Excellent. Speaking of, Wolf, it's your turn.
Yeah, Wolf's gonna run across the road.
All right, you run across the road. Do you dive into the ditch or do you keep trying to go?
He dives into the ditch so he doesn't get shot yet.
All right, you dive into the ditch. That will be a moment. You can still do a little something else with your turn, or do you want to just stay there?
He he'll nah, he won't fire. He mm, would have noticed that the tank is not firing. He calls over the radio, his handheld radio, to find out what's going on.
Okay, you get a very brief message back from the tank that just says, "Gunner and loader dead."
God damn it. Let's move across the... and he walk across, keep crouched along the...
Yeah, you can.
Along
You'll have
here.
cover. No cover's perfect, but you'll have cover.
Can he go along the drainage ditch to the tanks up ahead?
You can get as far
He
as
can take
Dalton
it.
unless you want to make a mobility roll to try and go further.
I can take him a time slow and steady to get up there.
All right. In that case, due to the token size, I'll put you in the one south of Dalton, but you are in the same square as Dalton.
Yep. Okay, you
All
can
right.
go to the next person.
All right. Sobislaw is in the trench, taking lead from everybody else. Gets his rifle and attempts to return fire. And I'm just going to do this very quickly off of Sobislaw's sheet. BC. Okay, yep, misses and achieves nothing. Dr. Rustagram, it is your turn. Everybody has bailed out of the BMP, which is smoking alarmingly. What do you do? No, she'd already jumped out.
I don't know. I didn't see anything beyond the rocket hit to the back. So it's possible that it's a fuel tank is about to burst into flames, or it could be something inside the vehicle's on fire. I'm not sure what's going on at this point. I didn't see. So basically, what I'm saying is I didn't see Wolf throw in an incendiary device into the back of the vehicle because of the smoke, and because I was focusing on my targets.
It's gonna blow because I threw it at the. Basically, Wolf turns around and says, "I threw a fire into the actual ammo section, so it can blow up."
Then we need to move.
Yeah,
Okay. Not that way. Yeah, you can move. Yeah, you can move two. People don't take whole hexes. These are 10-meter hexes. So yeah, you can quite readily move 2 hexes with your sort of minor, and then do something else. You can move 4 hexes by consuming with your small and major action. And if you want, you can do a mobility roll to try and move even further than that. Okay. Oh, I do apologize. I don't know why you don't have permission. You should have permission, but 2 hexes to the west. Okay, I'll move you. Yep. Yeah, you can go an extra hex if you want. Right? Yeah. All right, then. In that case, it is Tolbeck's turn. Tolbeck is going to take a lead rostogram and is going to attempt to get the hell away from this BMP where she has just heard that there is fire in there. However, she is aware that for her, the quickest route is to the east. So she's going to get as far as here by consuming both her actions, and then she just drops to the ground. Boop. And it is now the sort of NPC turn. So hang on. I don't roll a 2. All right. So the BMP continues to smoke in front of you. The hind whizzes along. Oh, good grief. And it takes advantage of the fact that it's actually got quite a long run up to the Abrams to fire again. Okay, that's definitely a hit. Okay. That's already been done. Done. Okay. So, again, boom! There is another strike on the Abrams. It doesn't appear to explode. However, it completely ceases all movement, and it can no longer be raised on the radio. Meanwhile, the armor from further up north in the northernmost tree line focuses its fire on the M60, which has been stuck and damaged and also is now receiving very close range RPG fire. It's been a stalwart beast, but as one particular RPG round comes in almost from its rear, certainly its side arc, you notice that finally something appears to catch, and a pillar of fire sort of smokes up through the various crew compartments, like where they unbutton, and it is very obviously out of action as it is now burning and semi-exploded. Towards the rear of the convoy, the Abrams at the back has turned, interestingly, and is starting to gun it down the road. And it manages to sort of bypass the stuck civilian truck and gets that far. In the meantime, NATO troops continue to try and run south as best they can. It is, however, a large open field, and you are aware that they are taking machine gun fire at increasingly long and therefore less effective ranges, but also from the distinctive report of certain rifles, you are aware that they are also taking sniper fire as they try and run across that field. The main saving grace is there are just too many targets for your attackers to kill them all, but they're definitely taking casualties as they run across that open field. Dalton, what do you do in this situation?
I want to provide. I want to take out those machine gunners because if they're cutting down people in an open field, they need to be stopped.
Yep.
So I guess I'm going to take another shot at this guy up here.
Absolutely. -1, but other than that. Alas! Now, you can push that roll if you want.
No, weapons too valuable to take chances with it.
Absolutely. So perhaps overcome by the stress of the situation, your aim is slightly off just a moment, and alas, you are unable to hit this machine gunner. Wolf, you are currently squatting in a drainage ditch next to Dalton. What do you do?
Basically, I'm gonna run back to where Rostagram is. So I'm gonna consume my 2 actions to do that.
Okay.
And just
Okay,
take
that's your 2
cover.
actions.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right.
And
Soboslaw. Oh,
yeah,
no, you were saying something else. Carry on.
that's all.
All right. Soboslaw. Now I see Corvinus has just sort of appeared. Right. And Corvinus cannot hear things. And we cannot hear Corvinus. I noticed a green circle around you, but you're not broadcasting. Oh, yeah, of course they won't hear me say that. Maybe she'll attempt to reconnect in a few moments. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay, right. In the meantime, we'll just let that carry on. I'm not going to delay for too long. I'll delay Soboslaw's turn until either the end of the initiative order or Zukov gets back. Rostagram, it is your turn. You have dashed away from the smoking BMP, and you are currently squatting in a drainage ditch. There are machine gunners somewhere to your north, as well as a number of armored vehicles. What do you do? Fantastic. You can see 2, one here and one there. The one that I'm currently pointing at is already wounded. That is true. All right, make that roll at -1. It's well within the first range increment. All right, you hit. It's not enough to kill this person outright, as the trunk of the tree and so forth that they're behind provides some degree of protection. However, you have certainly wounded this machine gunner as you hear a cry of pain, and there's a momentary interruption in the fire before controlled bursts resumes from the tree line. Sarah Tolbeck is up next. Sarah Tolbeck just knows that there's something that might go boom not too far behind her, and so keeps bloody pegging it. And she gets as far as there. All right. It is now Soboslaw's turn. I'm just going to see if Sukov's with us. I see in the chat, but okay. Okay, people. Do people want to keep Soboslaw near Dalton, running away with the main group, shooting at machine gunners? What do people want to do? If there's no strong answer,
We can let her run.
Okay, all right. We'll run in the same direction as Tolbeck.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it is the general combat turn. The Hind streaks forward and seems to be turning in the air as though it's coming back for another run. But it does not have the angle to fire at this time. There continues to be an exchange of small arms fire. However, the NATO small arms fire is now visibly less than the attackers' small arms fire, and it's focused largely on trying to suppress or kill machine gunners. RPG rounds continue to lance out of the trees as well, going after the increasingly soft vehicles. Some of them are hit, some of them miss as the vehicles are now at longer range. But even when there are hits, the crew has bailed out by this point, so it's now just a loss of vehicles and precious supplies. The lead Abrams just sits completely still and does nothing. Rear Abrams is continuing to gun it forward, and let me see. Yes, okay, that's that for there. And Dalton! Dalton has an interesting moment. As you're there, looking through the scope of your rifle, trying to line up another shot, you see the flash, or you hear it, as the ammunition in the BMP detonates. You feel, even in the ditch, this vast wave of pressure just hit you from the side. Please give me a mobility roll. Okay. Fortunately, you're already taking cover in the ditch, which will help you here. But you don't really manage to take full advantage or like roll down deep into the ditch at the last possible moment. As a result of which, you are aware of the sensation of lancing metal coming in at you from the side of you that is facing the BMP, as ammunition and armor and gears and bits of track just lance out. And I am now just going to roll a couple of dice. Hang on. Okay. You will take 2 points of physical damage, but you do not take a critical wound, fortunately. The cover really saved you there. Otherwise, there was a high chance that you could have taken a critical wound, as you are close enough to be caught in the blast. Also, at this point... Oh, okay, yeah, no. Mac, please also make me a mobility roll. Yours is going to be less severe, though, because you're further away.
Mobility.
Okay, you manage to die, like to roll into a convenient part of the ditch at the very last possible moment, and you take absolutely no damage. However, because perhaps this was your idea and you had clarity of thought and you didn't take any damage, your mind is able to focus on other things, and a realization creeps over you. You just lost all the equipment in the BMP, which includes the majority of your backpacks. You have lost almost all of your ammunition, food, and water.
Yep. Oops.
Dalton, it's your turn.
Well, we still got Allied forces running around getting shot at by machine gunners, so
This is true.
this guy here's got to go down.
All right, make me that roll at -1.
Is there a fire?
But it blew up. Okay, you hit, and that will surpass the critical threshold for your weapon. So, although this man was already wounded, that wasn't by your shot. You are very sure, once you have fired, that the continued silence from that machine gunner means that he is dead. And that would move it to Wolf. Wolf, your plan has just succeeded, in massive air quotes. You are currently lying in a ditch next to Rostogram. What do you do?
He looks over to see if there's any fire happening on the other side.
What do you mean by fire? Do you mean gunfire? Flaming fire?
No, the fire from the actual the explosion actually caught on like the grass or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely smoldering. And bushes will be on flame, that kind of a thing. But whether or not this turns into a full-on rampant fire is question mark. It doesn't. It could go either way. But foliage is definitely on fire.
He's gonna move up to here.
Okay.
And try and shoot at this dude right here.
All right, you can do that, and you'll be the last person to be able to do something before another effect kicks in. So I think that's within your first range increment. Make me a range combat roll at -1. Okay, that hits. What is your critical weapon threshold?
I'll have a look at my.
And how high is it above your normal damage?
Basically, it's my normal damage is 2. My critical threshold is 3.
Okay. And your normal damage is 2. All right. Well, unfortunately, he benefits from the cover. If you'd rolled one more success, you would have got hit your critical threshold, because the cover takes the damage down, the extra success pushes it back up, and he takes normal damage. He is wounded, but he is not dead. But you are aware that you hit that particular gentleman.
Yep.
All right, that brings us round to Soboslao, who is still, unfortunately, suffering severe technical issues. As a result of which, I'm now going to explain this, which is there is a cluster of burning and smoking vehicles to the north of the main party. I'm now going to draw a little bluey grey circle. Everything in this circle, like any line of sight that passes through here for ranged combat, is going to be at -2. As the smoke from all of these burning vehicles is really starting to accumulate and form a cloud.
I swear to fucking God, if I don't hear
We can hear you.
I'm gonna fucking
Yeah.
scream, buddy.
Hey,
You're
we
can
here.
hear you.
You want to kill somebody? Don't kill some Polish people who decided to
It is
attack
actually
us.
your turn.
What?
First of all, please confirm that you can hear us.
I can hear you. What the fuck is
Good.
going on?
So the convoy has been ambushed. You may recall this from the cliffhanger of the last session where the Hind appeared. The convoy has taken severe damage, lost your front and rear Bradley. The lead Abrams appears to be intact but inoperative. Several vehicles have attempted to go round but got bogged down in the mud. The convoy then received an order for all soft vehicles to go as far south as they possibly could before they bogged down, then for the crew to bail out and run for the southern tree line, which appears to be unoccupied. The rear Abrams has put up a strong fight, but is now seemingly driving as fast as it can eastwards. Every single vehicle in the convoy is either fleeing or in some way disabled. Your infantry who've bailed out have taken machine gun and sniper fire and are suffering casualties. You are returning fire, though, and are starting to suppress and or kill the machine gunners and rocket troops that have ambushed you. There are enemy vehicles in the far northern tree line that are still effective. Hind helicopter has been playing merry hell with the convoy, flying down its length, destroying anything it can. And your BMP, with all of the supplies in it, has exploded after the Commodore threw an incendiary device in after its wheels and tracks were severely damaged to detonate it. You are currently in a drainage ditch on the side of the road, a little divorced from the team because you ran away from where the BMP's cook-off of its ammunition might happen, or well, rather, explosion of its ammunition might happen. And it is your turn.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Oh, you are good then. That's fine. You can do that, but be aware that all mobility rolls will be at -2 whilst you are wearing your backpack. It's yeah. So, what does Sobislaw do?
Does it look like I fucking know what to do? No, really. Just listen to how I'm sounding. Does it look like I know?
All right. You are aware that the major, who you cannot currently see, did give orders for anybody who is not in a vehicle that's able to escape to try and make for the southern tree line.
And there's sniper fire, right?
There is, however, your friendlies have managed to deal with the sort of machine gunners in like this area. You are also aware of the fact that, shall we say, the NATO infantry that are trying to get across the field present too many targets. The enemies can't possibly kill them all.
And there's a gas pool where we are where three of us are that can provide cover because they can't see
Yes,
through the
that's
gas.
true. Yeah, this grey smoky area, lots of burning vehicles are very close to one another, so this has created a cloud of like heavily obscuring
And I'm not
smoke.
in there, so I'm gonna get over there.
All right, okay, you can easily do that. I'll move the token for you. So, do you
No, I
want to
can
take
move
both of
myself
your
easily.
actions? Oh, excellent! You've got permission. I don't know why you do, and seemingly other people don't. That is strange. But all right, so yeah, that's 2 hex. You can get that far by consuming your double move. You can go 1 more hex by consuming your double move. If you want to go further, you can have to do a mobility roll.
I'm gonna fucking do this.
All right. Okay, let me just turn to that. Okay, that's no successes, so you don't go any further forward, but nothing bad happens to you.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Rustagram. The BMP has just exploded. There is a thick cloud of smoke to your north. What do you do? That is true. That would be at -3 because of the smoke and his cover. Yes. Yes, you can do that and fire at -1. Okay. Alright, you hit. The damage of your weapon is slightly reduced by the cover, however, this person is already wounded, and that is enough damage to kill him. That machine gun falls silent. And also, just for free, give me a recon roll. Okay, you see nothing else. But, I mean, you are aware that there is machine gun fire, like, here and here, but there's a distinct lack of machine gun fire in your immediate, like, corridor. Like, that zone. Okay, that is your entire initiative. Sarah Tolbeck! She has noticed the smoke and is going to be doing the same thing as Soboslao. She's going to double move towards the smoke. I said do the same thing as Soboslao. So she double moves towards the smoke and she'll attempt a mobility roll. She will not be able to move any farther forward this turn. Okay, Dalton! Just before it is your turn, you notice the hind complete its loop around. And next turn, it's going to be starting to run back down the convoy. You also are aware of the continued exchange of small arms fire. Several NATO troops are now reaching the tree line and seemingly escaping. But the casualties are worrying as this happens. What do you do?
Well, I can't see any targets, and my weapon would be useless against the helicopter. So I'm going to look at Wolf and suggest we head south for the tree line. And if he concurs, then I'm going to.
That's our orders.
I'm going to start moving south.
Yeah, orders. Head south.
All right. So yeah, you can move 4 hexes by consuming both of your moves, and then if you want to go further, you do a mobility roll. Okay. And good, you were able to move. All right. As you are now like up and out of the trench and a little further away from the smoke, you're able to notice a number of other people in various clumps of trees, and the vehicles to the far north that are still firing are now more obvious to you. However, none of them appear to be firing at you, and you take no fire as you dash across that little piece of ground. Wolf, it is your turn. What do you do?
Okay, he's still in the fire cover. He's gonna consume his 2 actions to run up to there.
Yep.
I'll roll a mobility.
Yep. See if you go further. Excellent.
If he doesn't, then he's gonna just lay on his stomach to make sure he doesn't get shot.
You can do that. I will, however, say that if you do that, you won't be able to move as far next turn because you have to spend time getting back up.
Okay, I won't do that. I'll just hide behind like a bush or hide in a bush.
Okay, all right. We can deal with that, but yeah, absolutely. All right, Soboslao, you are behind the smoke, and various team members of yours have started running south. Smoker's cover.
I'm double timing the shit out of this now.
Absolutely, you can move your 4 hexes to the south and then roll mobility for any further move. Okay, you don't get any further, but nothing bad happens to you. Rostogram, your entire team appears to now starting to run across the open field. Do you join them, or do you try covering fire? What is it that Yep, move your 4 and roll mobility. Yep. Okay, you can move 1 additional hex for a total of 5 hexes. So shall I get moving 1 further past the Commodore? Okay, it's Sarah Tolbeck's turn. She's going to do the same thing as all the rest of you. Okay. She fails, but she still, moves her 4. All right. The Hind swings back around. Damaged Abrams suddenly starts moving again, but it's doing what the perfectly intact Abrams is doing and trying to get the hell out of here to the east. The Hind, as it's sweeping back in, gives it another shot. And the shot goes wide. It misses as the Hind continues to streak along the open road. The other Abrams gets to about there. And you are aware of some colleagues to your left and right dying, but as long as you are within that corridor of smoke, you and the friendlies in that corridor appear not to be taking any fire. Dalton, it is your initiative. Do you keep pegging?
Yep, we're going to keep legging it for the tree line.
Absolutely. Yep. Move 4 plus however many successes you get on mobility. You can move 2 extra hexes. All right. Wolf, you also keep running.
Yep, I'm dipping.
All right. Okay, but yeah, you can still do the same. It doesn't matter. You're back to back in the initiative. Excellent. And yeah, you can both roll the mobility for how many ever extra hexes. Oh, I see. Baker got none, and Wolf got none. All right, Rostergram. I'm imagining you are also just still running. Roll that mobility.
I'll yell out I'll yell out to the troops to use the corridor that we are currently in. Any troops that.
Okay. Yeah, if you are too far away, it is too noisy. There is too much fire, screaming, explosions. They can't hear you. But Rostergram, you can 5 hexes. Oh yeah, I'll do that for you. Okay. Okay, and I'll do a quick roll for Sarah Tolbeck. Ooh, she does very well. Draco notices Sarah Tolbeck by running past him. This is a case of quick, run for your life.
Oh, good.
All right.
Pretty incredible with an M60.
Yes. That takes us to a very scary moment. All of you can just roll me recon. Okay, all right. Rostergram will be able to get it even if the rest of you don't. The Hind... the Hind does not strafe along the road again. It sees what's happening. It turns south slightly and is strafing across the open field, trying to do what it can to the fleeing infantry. Okay, those are some definite hits. 1, 2, 5. I'll roll a d10. Okay. As the cannon is firing at the assembled mass of people, you notice, all of you, that anybody who appears to be hit by this is having an extraordinarily bad time. This is arms are being ripped off, legs are going missing, entire torsos appear to cease existing. It's not firing its rockets, it's firing its cannons, but damn, this is not good for anyone involved. This is particularly unfortunate for Dalton. Fortunately, he does not receive a direct hit. The cannon round lands near him, and he does not receive a critical injury. But please take 2 points of not stress damage, physical damage, as some little shards of metal end up in your leg. But you are still able to fully move, have not taken a critical wound.
The power of
And
adrenaline hits different.
Yes, very much so. And it is your initiative, Dalton.
Well, I'm going to keep running.
Yep. Roll that mobility. You are perfectly able to. Excellent. You get to the tree line, and you are fairly confident that now that you are getting inside the tree line, you are safe. Unless the tree line itself starts taking like mortar fire or something along those lines, you're going to be okay. You are out of danger. Wolf, your turn.
Hey, I'm gonna. 1, 2. And I'm gonna roll the ability.
Excellent. Move one more hex.
I get to move 1 hex space.
You better double time it, Doc.
It is. So I noticed that Draco already moved it. So I think it's Rostogram next. Oh, sorry, Mac, you were saying something.
That's okay.
All right, Rostogram will be able to get it that far on her mobility roll. It's Sarah Tolbeck. Taking a moment to go through, but it will. Oh wow! Oh wow! Sarah Tolbeck has clearly been doing her cardio as she continues to outperform all expectations and gets to there. So far, the only one of you who is safe is Dalton, but all of the rest of you are pretty confident that you're gonna get there next round. If you live till next round. All right. The Hind sweeps around, turns around, and is continuing to fire. It is focusing on the troops in the smoke corridor that the other people can't reach. And you are in its prime arc of fire. Guess I'll do a 10. Okay, and then... All right. So again, cannon rounds. They go off into the massive troops that are running as fast as they can. People die left and right. There is screaming and very ominous silence. The smell of iron in your nose mixing with the smoke and fire from your north. However, despite the devastation of a hind gunning infantry in an open field, none of the rounds land anywhere near you. And you are now all so close to the tree line that unless you do anything reckless, if you all just keep running, we'll be in the tree line and safe. If, however, you decide to do something like turn and fight, that is a different question.
No, we're not playing hero right now. Come on, we need to fucking live.
Dalton is safe. Dalton, do you keep going or do you turn and fight?
No, I take cover and prepare to return fire if any enemy infantry are chasing us.
Fantastic.
And I'm dropping prone for cover, cause god damn.
Yep. Wolf, what do you do? Yep, you just get out of there. Very sensible. And you can get into cover for free. Yep. Now you're in the woods. This.
Yeah. He's at a stage where if he takes one more shot, gets one more wound, he's gonna die.
All right. Soberslau, you've already taken your thing and pegged it. Rustogram, keep running. All right. Not right next to you. You'd have to turn around. Okay, all right. You are safe. You don't even need to make a roll. You can cover that distance without difficulty. And it's the same for Sarah Tolbeck. You all escape into the tree line. None of you take any immediate fire. You do, however, notice after a while that once all of the gunfire appears to die down and the NATO troops who are sort of stuck in the drainage ditch are largely dead, but you do actually, here's an interesting one. There are a few NATO troops still alive in the drainage ditch, but after a couple of moments, gunfire ceases, their casualties are immense, and you notice what few surviving friendly troops are in those drainage ditches either put their hands up or get what white material they can, tie it to the ends of their rifles, and like wave it around. They are clearly attempting to surrender. Do you do anything about this?
No.
All right. Does anybody else have a thought or comment? All right. Do you hang around to find out?
No,
Okay.
he's
If
Nah, we should not be. We shouldn't fuck around and find out.
yeah, these are Polish people, and then he pulls off the hand radio and try and see if there's any survivors to regroup with their unit.
all right, I'll take everyone to the travel map, as you may need to make reference to various villages and so forth. So you are currently here. I'll just move the party token. You're currently in that hex. And yes, you've south into the woods. On the radio, there are quite a few people trying to do the same thing as you. There's general confusion. However, after a few moments, the major's voice cuts across as they take command of the situation, and they order all infantry in the southern tree line fall back south approximately 200 meters, and then gather on the small rise with conifers. We will there and plan our next action. Do you follow this, or do you go your own way, or say or do anything else?
I try and get through regroupment of see if there's anyone who's close to us.
Okay. All right. As you start heading in that general direction, you start bumping into straggling survivors quite quickly. Most people are moving at a jog. They're a bit too tired to keep sprinting. The group as a whole is also slowed down by wounded, either having difficulty under their own power, or some very lucky ones have been picked up and carried either on stretchers or by just on people's shoulders by allies. Amount of wounded is piling up fast. Rostergram, without even a medical roll, you're able to see that wounds vary from gunshots, burns, breaks, other fractures, minor cuts, severe cuts. Some people are in a position of they'll be dead in minutes. Others are in a position of maybe they'll get better on their own. It runs the full gamut of possible battlefield injuries, really. A few people are attempting to deal with this, but it's clear that there are not nearly enough medics to the number of wounded. As the group approaches the rise, it's clear that more able-bodied under the deputyship of the captain, who appears to have survived, have set up a picket, and more senior officers and the wounded are trying to be collected inside that perimeter that's been set up. It's also clear as you look over your shoulder and see the open field that you've all just left, before you lose all sight of that entirely, enemy, and they're a bit too far away for you to really make out their uniforms, they're just black shapes, appear to be taking the prisoners. They're not being immediately shot. Various infantry come out of their prepared positions and their cover and are taking a position to on the south side of the road, and they appear to be like defending the drainage ditch. And the vehicles that you can see are all Soviet-made vehicles, but that could be Russian, that could be Polish, are leaving northern tree line and heading south, again, seemingly taking up new positions, but not fully pursuing you. And once the hind has given up attacking stragglers, I'll just turn it down a little. Once the hind's given up attacking stragglers, it tears off down the road to the east, most likely in pursuit of the Abrams. Try and find the major? Do you do something else? Well, I'll take it one by one. We'll start with Rostogram. Rostogram, what do you do?
I go to the medical tent. That's where you're going to be needed more.
It's not a tent. It's just a bunch of people laid down on the forest floor.
Yeah, he says you're going to be more useful to them right now. They need you.
Absolutely. You can go. You can make me that. Yep. You can make me that medical roll to see how well you help out. You can make it flat. All right. You are successfully able to triage some of the worst ones who haven't already been triaged, and you start providing successful emergency care to people who've got the kind of injuries that will kill them very quickly, in the classic order of breathing, bleeding, breaks, and burns. The breathing ones, they're already dead. You stop a couple of major arterial bleeds, and you're currently working on the breaks that could cause a major arterial bleed. All right. Dalton, in this moment, as the adrenaline starts leaving your body, you're wounded, but not critically so, seemingly lost all of your vehicles, aside from the 2 Abrams that have run off to the east, and the infantry have taken heavy casualties. As the officers are trying to gather and decide what to do next, what do you do?
Well, first thing I would do is wish I still had my backpack because my personal med kit is in it. And I don't have it with me now, seeing how the backpack is still in the truck, or the BMP. I really don't know.
Okay.
All I've got
What
is what.
Sorry.
All I have is what's on me. So.
What's your character's, since you really don't know, what's your character's sort of, emotional reaction to this? Are they overwhelmed? Are they remaining calm and professional?
Well, he's upset. Obviously, I mean, we've lost our vehicle. We've lost a lot of supposed allied people. I mean, this was the Majors group, which I was always a little dubious of to begin with. But no, he's angry more than anything.
All right. Okay. Draco. What is Draco Soboslau's reaction to this entire scenario, both like, emotionally and also in terms of practical action?
Excuse me, what?
How do you feel about what just happened in character, and also is there anything in character that you now want to do
His ears are
regarding?
fucking ringing. He is
Hmm?
slumped down to one of the vertical walls or tree lines, and his brain is currently just trying to take in everything that has occurred, and he's just he's probably neurologically shut down for the time being.
Okay. All right, that's very understandable. Good role play. You might get some experience, but please give yourself an extra point of stress damage just to reflect that emotional state.
Oh, definitely.
Uh,
Wait, how much stress?
yeah. I don't. I think you should. Judging by the various pieces of fire, you should already be on at least 1, so maybe up to 2. It's not going to take you past the critical threshold.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Sarah Tolbeck is clearly very affected by all of this, but she is able-bodied and still has a weapon with quite a lot of ammunition. So she takes her position in the hastily assembled picket and is trying to deal with this by focus on the work, focus on the work, focus on the work. Commodore, you, as the seemingly only officer who's not having an emotional break at this moment, what do you do? Do you go and try and find the other officers who are gathering, or do you do something else?
He's under stress. He's stressed about what's been happening, and he's going
Yep.
to find out what the heck is going on.
Okay.
When are we officially moving per se?
All right. So the best way to do that would be to try and gather and meet with the other officers. You notice there aren't very many of them, but the major and a captain are both there on this little hill. And there is an active and animated discussion as you approach. And one of them, a phrase that you hear is, "What do you mean, Krakow? How could Krakow have possibly known this?" And the major says, "I do not know how Krakow knew, but I can think of no other explanation for what just happened." "But that's ridiculous!" "That does not matter. We must take action immediately." And then she turns to a lieutenant and says, "Lieutenant, speak with the medics, identify all of the wounded who cannot walk under their own power. Use the branches around here and able-bodied men, fashion as many stretchers as is possible. Once they all have someone who can carry them, we will move in a southeasterly direction." And she turns to the Commodore as you approach. "Ah, Commodore, I'm glad to see that you are still alive. How fares your team?"
They're all still alive, able
Good.
to walk.
That is better than most.
Medic is trying to help with the wounded right now.
Excellent. We cannot stay here for long. And she's sort of like pausing to see if you have any suggestions or anything you want to say or ask.
You know when.
Sorry, Mac, I didn't quite hear that.
Yeah, he asks, when do you if we don't start to move, they're going to start heading south because we've noticed that they're starting to take up position on the south side of where we had to escape.
It's as I anticipated. Thank you. And she'll call out to sort of anybody who can hear that we move in 5 minutes at the latest. There is an implication in her words that is unpleasant. You can make me either command or recon roll, your choice. Actually, or persuasion, command, or recon, your choice, to see if you can kind of work out what the unpleasant implication of her words is.
Command.
Okay. All right, yeah, you can't work
Damn.
out the unpleasant element of her words, unless, of course, you work it out of character. But she has made it very clear that we move in 5 minutes.
He
What
asks,
do you?
what about the wound?
Sorry, I talked over you, Max. Say again.
He goes, what about the ones who are critically wounded?
The ones that we can treat and make mobile, albeit with stretchers, which are currently being created, we take with us. Those who we cannot move, we must trust on the mercy of the enemy to take them alive.
He really doesn't like the sound of that.
If we stay here and defend this position, we will all die.
Yeah, he's just thinking in his head, Doctor isn't gonna like this. So he goes, yeah, we'll be ready in 5 minutes.
Very good. And she nods, and unless you bring up anything further, she immediately gets to work. She doesn't need to give any more orders for the next 5 minutes, so she works like fury to try and make it so as that as many wounded as is possible are able to move. And in fact, let's do a little thing here.
I go and talk to the other guys and say, get as many of the wounded you can carry with you and stabilize them as much as possible. And you tell us the doctor to stabilize them as much as possible so we can move them. What we can carry.
Okay. The Major is, largely through her supervisory ability rather than her practical ability, is very successful at getting quite a lot of wounded people able to go. Not 100%, but yeah, she's good at what she does. It's also very obvious that she is currently in like unemotional, my mind is steel mode. And if there is going to be any emotional impact, it's going to come later when the crisis has passed. But she is completely in control in the moment of crisis. It's clear to see why she ended up as the person in charge of this group.
He's just rubbing his forehead like it's like starting to. The stress is actually giving him a headache.
That makes absolute sense. Very reasonable. You probably haven't seen casualties like this since your submarine fleet was all but destroyed.
Yeah.
And even then, they were further away from you. This was very up close. All right. Yep. Do you stay with the general group, or do you all try and like split off?
He gets the vibe from everyone else. The rest of the group. Do you want to stay, or we can go? But I heard that Krapashire found out. He mentions that Krapashire was the one who attacked us.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear that, Mac. You said Krapazar? Do you mean Krakow?
Right. Yeah, Krakow.
Yeah.
He mentions Krakow. Krakow. He mentions Krakow is the one that was the one who attacked us.
Team's reaction to that piece of news / speculation.
I'm sorry if my mom is so fucking loud.
Hi.
You just found out that Krakow. He just found out Krakow was the one who was behind the attack.
A full-ass Russian helicopter?
Yeah.
There was a chopper up in the air.
remind Mac that like the Major was saying it was clearly Krakow, and other officers were going, "This is impossible! It can't be Krakow! How would they?" So yeah, but the Major definitely thinks it's Krakow.
The Major thinks it's Krakow, but the officers don't think it is, so we don't know specifically if it is Krakow or what the heck is going on.
As you're having this conversation, people and the first person to notice this would be Rostogram. People are starting to the pickets starting to move. People are gathering what little kit they were able to salvage, and it's a little disorganized, but the mass of people, the mass of survivors, are starting to move off in a southeasterly direction.
Yep. And she didn't give us a 5-minute warning.
It happens in 5 minutes, and it's been a couple of minutes. Speed is definitely of the essence here.
We might as well keep it moving because I don't want to stay in one position for too long.
Okay. Yes. You know what? I'm gonna do a thing. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. No. The wounded who are left behind are severely wounded. They cannot be level of injured. They there is a business of we have little to no equipment. We need to keep everything we can. They are having their ammunition, weapons, equipment, and so forth stripped and taken by the healthy. Some people who are protesting this severely, who are doing a "we'll never surrender" kind of affair, which is very few of them, and they're all being left with like some kind of little piece of white cloth that they can wave. But a few of them are allowed to have the "here's a gun with one bullet" treatment. It's up to you. But there are not very many people who would take that option. The vast majority appear to be, I want to fight, but I can't. You're taking all my equipment and it's hopeless, so I'll surrender and hope. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you want, I'll allow you to be one of the people who scavenges material, and you can take some commonly available items and put them in your own backpack. Stuff like food, water, probably not medical supplies. They're all getting used. Ammunition, a weapon, but nothing fancy like a machine gun or a rocket launcher. Yeah, well, you choose. There's such variety. You get your pick.
I think we need to get some food and water too. Nope.
You're moving relatively quickly. Someone in the party can roll me 2d10.
I'll roll.
Okay. Oh, they're very even. You have a very brief amount of time to scavenge stuff before it's very clear that if you're not with the party, you'll be left behind. In that very brief period of time, you are able, as a whole team, to salvage an additional 7 units of food and 7 units of water.
The Commodore is telling you to hurry up because we need to go.
And we're gonna continue following this group. I mean,
Well,
haven't they got us in enough trouble?
we're gonna need to get a vehicle so we can start going.
I mean, where are we headed? I guess is my question.
I'm gonna try and get back to. If you guys want, we can try and get back to SPS to get a vehicle. And take
You mean Praska? Do you mean Sestakova?
Sestakova.
Okay.
He goes, we can take some of the wounded with you want.
Do you bring this? Carry on.
Well, the
Well,
major's going to leave them behind.
what is the major's intentions at this point? I mean, she's lost all of this armor and vehicles and a large part of her force. What is she intending to do at this point? Where is she headed?
Who knows? She hasn't told us. Horses. Yeah.
And we don't know what's south because we haven't been down there, right?
Yep.
No, you have not been down there. You haven't heard any rumors coming out of that area. Got no news.
And she's going to leave these men to... She's planning to leave these men.
I'm wondering if this attack by the Poles, if that's who actually did it, was personal against this major's force and we got caught up in their crap.
I think it was personal.
I'm all for splitting off from them and getting back to Sestakova and try to get another vehicle and try to get healed back up.
Do you like leave the majors group immediately? Do you stay with them till nightfall? Do you talk to anyone? What do you do?
If it was me, I would just kind of like, when they start moving, we kind of like start moving toward the end of their formation and just split off unnoticed and try to make our way somewhere else.
Yeah. That's what the Commodore is actually doing. Slowing down, staying at the end.
In that case, I'm just going to make a couple of rolls just to see what happens. Nobody super important is at the rear. Actually, no, the captain would be at the rear. This isn't quite the right sheet, but hey. Now I'll just do it off this. Alright. The captain very definitely notices you doing this, and he's taken command of the rear guard. He gives you like a look and a wave, as in come on, keep up. But like when he does that, do you all immediately try and keep up, or do you not do that?
For a while.
Sorry, say again, Mac?
He says to the others, we have to keep appearances up.
I've got 4 points of damage on me right now, so I would embellish the fact that I'm having trouble moving and,
use that as an excuse to fall behind.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty badly wounded as it is.
Oh, yeah. You can give me a persuasion roll.
I'm 1 point away from death, and my stress is at max, so it's understandable why I'm slow.
This is very understandable. But did you say your stress is at max?
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that. I'm going to do a thing, but not immediately. But yeah, Dalton can give me a persuasion roll for this
That's
act.
why I have a major headache.
Okay, so you try and play up the wound. It's not very hard because it's real, but it you can tell that the captain has realized that you're actually using this as an opportunity to desert. Like, you can see it in his eyes, and gives you this very long. He gives the whole party this very long, very sad look. That's a sort of really sure, but silently. And if for whatever reason you actually no, for that, so yeah, you all get this sad, "Are you really sure?" look from the captain. He doesn't say anything, he doesn't do anything, and there aren't very many people around him. He really is the rear guard. What's your reaction to this "Are you really sure?" look?
Oh, he's gonna. His headache's just annoying him to the point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Где Васька? Где Васька? А Васька на ней сидит, она играет, а Васька на ней...
Well, basically, she was warned that we were attacked, so she chose to come this way.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm still wondering why you didn't pull rank on the major. I mean, you're an admiral for all intents and purposes, so.
Commodore, actually.
I'm a Commodore in the Navy, so I can't pull rank in Army situations.
Yeah, but this isn't a formal military anymore. This is a ragtag band of survivors.
Yeah.
Is your reaction as a team to the sad "Are you really sure?" look from the captain to just stand there and do nothing, to give him a "yes, we're sure" nod, to try and catch up? What do you do?
He tries to catch up and he goes,
You can Commodore, you can give me a econ or persuasion roll, your choice.
I go recon.
Okay, with one success, you can tell that the reason why the captain is sad about this is he's kind of got a "I don't think it would be a good idea for you to go. I think we all need to stay together. You know, you're us." But he's not going to stop you.
He runs up to the captain and he says, I did tell her that we were attacked on our first run through.
Give me a persuasion roll. And it'll be somewhat opposed. Oh, okay. Right,
Yeah.
okay, you do that, and his look of sadness shifts slightly. And it becomes not really angry, but just a little bit angry. And he says, "Your first reaction, wake of all this, try and make the best of it, and to get people going where they need to be, it's to blame someone else?"
I'm not
Well,
blaming.
Captain, where exactly are we supposed to be?
Right now, according to the Major, we're moving southeast, trying to stay out of the way of what we think might be any major build-ups, while we hook round and approach Sestakova. So I'll draw it out on the map. They're kind of planning to do this.
He goes, yous are gonna already blame us anyway.
He gives you give me another recon roll. Yeah, I know you don't pick it up like exactly what it is, but you can tell he doesn't like that implication or resentment, or he resents that you said that. Don't get more detail than that, and he is silent.
I thought you should know that, yeah, we were attacked on the first play through.
He'll look at you and say, "You've already made your mind up to go, haven't you?"
If you're going to stress the cover, we'll come through.
Really?
We'll decide then.
Now you want to stay with us? Okay. Well, in that
I need to go
case,
there anyway.
there's like
Meanwhile, Obaslaw is still having that little breakdown.
yeah. As long as Soboslaw is like walking, we'll be fine. If Soboslaw is not walking, there will be difficulties.
It could walk perfectly fine. It's just, neurological shutdown temporarily.
Absolutely. Okay. Captain gives the Commodore like a real stinker now. The Commodore has essentially said possibly the second worst combination of things the Commodore could have said. But is giving the Commodore a stink eye, and when the Commodore says, "Yeah, well, we'll come with you for now, and then we'll decide what to do," basically, he says, "Well, in that case, I suggest that you double time it to the head of the formation," and he points aggressively.
Okay. He just continues walking forward.
As,
He's not going to rush it. He's not going to rush his body.
All right. The captain and the very rear guard remain behind you the whole time. You are aware of the feeling of staring daggers in your back that you weren't getting before. And you weren't getting that before. Like, at least from the captain's point of view, and who knows from the major's point of view, the major's harder to read. But at least from the captain's point of view, he wasn't particularly interested in assigning blame. All he cared about was, all right, let's just make the best of this, and
it actually resolved the situation at hand.
And actually resolved the situation, and then the Commodore came up and started going,
be a mopey, bloody civvy.
Not so much that, but mainly don't start. This is not the moment to start throwing blame around. And the Commodore did exactly that.
And then we'll figure out who did it.
Yeah. So the captain's not happy about that, but the captain is nonetheless under you, like in the group. And at least you have lost your immediate ability to escape, or like even walk away, because the captain would have let you go. Like if you just said, "Yep, we're off," he'll have looked sad and said, "Like good luck," and left. But then you tried to justify it or throw shade.
Yeah.
But either way, the day will continue, and we'll get to this hex before it starts getting into proper nighttime. People settle down. They start tending to more wounds. People eat. People cook very small but very well concealed fires. Dr. Rustagram, you can please do a medical aid roll, 1 at +2 supplies, for every single member of the party. And give me a 5th for Sarah as well. Yeah, excellent. Okay, everybody except Dalton can make me a stamina roll at +2. Dalton, make me a straight stamina roll.
I don't know how to roll a die with +2, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you succeeded anyway, but the way that you would do it is that you go into the easiest in the combat tab. but it's also in the basic tab, where you see where it says die 1, die 2, for instance, at the bottom of the basic tab.
Yeah.
Would just move those die to be 2 better, so 1 in each column, better than your normal roll in that category. So if you'd normally be rolling a C and a C, you'd change it to a B and a B.
Okay.
But okay, fortunately, everybody makes it. Nobody's wounds become infected. And you will
wounded?
heal. Yeah, you were in a you were really near the BMP. You took like 1 point of damage. It's nothing. You will heal that very quickly. And nobody's wounds become infected. Hooray!
Yippee!
That is actually very important. So, one less problem. So, night comes. Camp is struck or set up. And there are a couple of people who get sent off on a little bit of a reconnoiter of the wider area. You happen to be quite near the major. That's where you've just set up your tent, so you can hear the sorts of things that are going on. And the scouts come back, and they look worried. And they say, Major, the small team that we sent ahead to secure the abandoned village of Lubinek, they're all dead. We approached the village to try and survey the situation. There was some signs of battle damage, and well, some of them were lying dead in the streets. The rest were hanging from lampposts. Major is just silent at that. She appears unaffected, but is definitely in, I have to think about this and concentrate mode. What is the team's reaction to hearing this news?
For Shobazar's part, he hasn't said a thing since the whole debacle. Absolutely nothing.
No one it's actually the Polish who are doing it.
Do you say that? Do you say it's the Polish who are doing it?
He says it out loud. It's the damn Polish.
The Major nods without turning and says, Yes, when the Hind presented itself, that is what I surmised. There is no longer such a thing as the Polish army. Each group is its own separate formation with its own separate loyalties and agendas. One group of Polish military could be loyal to us, the next group of Polish military could be loyal to only themselves. But the Hind flew. I thought it was a myth, but it is one of the 2 pieces of marvelous technology that Krakow still controls. And she sort of punches down and starts drawing a map in the dirt with a twig. But you can tell from the roads and forests and so forth that she's outlining the zone that you're in, the village of Lublinek, the road network, the rivers, and it kind of goes down a little bit. And she says, I've heard unconfirmed reports that the Polish military, the Silesian Defense Force, is in control of the villages and towns to our south, which is why I wish to avoid them. And that they had formed a deal with the city of Krakow, that they would protect the city and that the city would help to supply them. More than that, I do not know. And to sweeten the deal, well, I didn't think it was true. I thought it was only rumors. I didn't think it could be possible. But apparently, according to the whispers of some traders, Krakow has a hind. It is sometimes apparently seen flying in and out of the castle. Krakow has something else. Something that I was willing to believe, judging by some of the activity in this area. Krakow has a train. That is one of the reasons why they are able to extend their reach further than most.
Oh, he's now thinking. He's thinking.
Mac, you just said he's thinking and then went silent.
He's like, oh, damn it.
Okay.
And he's rubbing his forehead.
Nonetheless, our best hope now is we must at least scout the scenario in Sestakova. We have lost much of our strength, but the supplies are still there. If the forces that we left behind in Sestakova are still intact, then we can still base ourselves there. We'll be weaker, but it is our best chance at regaining some degree of strength and supply. If Sestakova is no longer under control of the forces that we left there, then we must attempt to find some other NATO group or head to a new region. And she sort of turns to all the officers present, which would include the Commodore and, if Soboslaw wanted to be there, Soboslaw, for their input.
Thinking, and he keeps on rubbing his head, and he goes,
Worst case scenario, go south or go to a different region. Then.
He's thinking, only if I'm allowed to scout out north to see if there's any Germans or any of the other NATO bases are available.
Might be some British forces as well.
Yeah.
You are both aware that if British and German forces are anywhere, they're going to be quite some way north.
Yeah,
but the
that's what
issue
he's
is
thinking.
most likely they would be up north, but from where we're currently at, we're at a bottleneck.
Okay.
I think
anyone who's at max stress, by the way, can please roll me a d10.
I don't think anyone's at max stress.
we'll be right.
I think Wolf is.
Yeah.
Yep. Wolf
9.
Okay. I'm going to say, considering this is horrendous, there's an automatic fail. Okay. All right. Roll me an empathy roll, please. Just the EMP stat, nothing else. Just the 1d10. Well, not the d10, the 1 dice.
What is empathy?
If it's the one at the top. Okay, all right, you succeed. So you retain control of yourself. However, you have an immense form of anger boiling in the back of your mind at the terrible thing that has just happened to you and all of the people around you. How dare the universe throw all of this at you? How dare those fucking Poles do this to your friends and to your colleagues? How dare those pieces of shit wreck your BMP and all of your pieces of equipment? How fucking dare they? You're going to have to get some revenge for this. Out of character, you have accumulated the mental stress of psychosis. When you are in certain high stress situations, you will have to roll an empathy roll. This is in theory curable. And if you fail the empathy roll, you are overtaken by violent rampages and uncontrollable anger. You are overcoming it because you've passed the roll, but that scratch is at the back of your mind.
Yep, and he already knows where the source of the Crest Peace allegiance lies. So he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna go to bed early, and hopefully we can get to
Get to
the
Sestakova.
city quickly as possible."
Excellent. All right. Does anyone else have anything to do this day before we move on to the next day? Absolutely. Give me a straight medical aid roll. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Dr. Ross. I mean, it doesn't massively matter. You're incredibly successful at this. Other people who might not have made it throughout the night who are able to successfully stabilize. You're not quite on the level of miracle as those World War II German surgeons who made a dialysis machine out of a washing machine, but you're incredibly close. You're able to perform miracles with sticks and a bit of cheese. This is
Wow.
unheard of.
Sticks and cheese.
Sticks and cheese. The reason why I mentioned cheese is my old GP from when I was a small child would actually tell people to apply cheese to certain kinds of conditions and it would get better. His nickname was God. That was his nickname. He was.
I find it funny that my characters. Did you see the text, the chat in Gilded?
There you go. Sorry, I'm just bouncing between various chat. Yep, no, that is true. That is accurate.
Yep.
And on the flip side of that, Rostogram, your medical interventions are so successful at saving so many critically injured people that as you're working your way through the camp, people are starting to whisper about you in reverential terms, and one or two people start. Obviously, at the moment, they don't genuinely mean it in its literal sense of the word, but a couple people are starting to refer to you as an angel.
The second coming of Florence Nightingale.
As you save many lives this night.
Well, actually, also the second coming of Mother Teresa.
Hopefully better than that. But oh yeah. Oh yeah. There is Rostogram is in high esteem at the moment, and is loved by one and all. I say loved, deeply appreciated by one and all for what you've done that night. And nothing happens. You're not pursued. You're not attacked again. You're not ambushed throughout the night. And as the morning comes, the group breaks early and it starts moving towards Sestakova. There's an element of forced march to this because the major is very aware that the people that you are going up against have vehicles. However, if you press hard, you'll be able to reach Sestakova at nighttime, and that is what the major is going for. Do you stay with the major throughout the entirety of the day, heading towards Sestakova?
Yeah.
get there by night.
Yeah. Yeah. So they don't draw suspicion.
Yeah. Everyone, because you have had proper medical treatment, but you haven't rested, you don't. You rested in the night. Everybody receives 1 point of physical damage back. You all heal that. But other than that, you don't get any other healing because you don't rest anymore throughout the next day. As you push on to Sestakova. Everybody can make me a stamina roll as you enter into a forced march.
Give me a second. Hold on. My mom doesn't care.
Successful. All right. I'll ask Dalton.
Understandable for Dalton. That's understandable for Dalton.
It's absolutely understandable for Dalton. Unfortunately, he takes a point of physical damage, so the point that he healed comes right back. And he's back to where he was as he suffers from pressure of the forced march. And everybody consumes a unit of food and a unit of water. But you've got enough, at least for that day. I know this. So
I have a question real quick.
Of course.
With the damage I've taken, nothing was said about the amount of stress I should have. So I'm still empty on my stress.
Okay. You would have took 2 from the explosion. You took 1 from the near impact from the hind. That was it. So you took 3 stress throughout the battle.
Okay.
Not stress, like physical damage.
No, I know about the damage.
But yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, you also take 3 stress. Yeah, take 3 stress, especially considering the sheer number of casualties that were taken.
Yeah.
The book says
my anger at the lack of.
Yeah, the book says that's stress alone, just the sheer number of casualties, let alone being shot at yourself. So yeah, 3. Everybody takes 3, minimum of 3 emotionals. Okay.
So basically, he shows the major the way to the HQ.
Excellent.
So
as you do that, you are aware that for a little while, dogs are stalking the group.
I would
there's the smell of
tell
blood
everyone. I would say, Major, we're gonna have to be on high alert because there are gonna be rabid dogs that are gonna smell the scent of blood.
Well, everybody is on high alert, and the dogs are stalking the gaggle of you, but there are enough of you who are able to just scare off the dogs with your sheer numbers. So it's like they're stalking a wounded animal. They're just waiting for an opportunity, but they're not striking. They don't have the confidence to do that. But it's good that you are on high alert, because everyone can make me a flat recon roll.
He's making sure the group is well aware.
Okay. Dalton and Wolf are both run absolutely ragged. There's sweat pouring through your eyes. You've taken a high amount of physical damage and emotional stress. You are not at your best. Rostogram, you're feeling, a little better, but you don't actually really notice anything. Oh no, sorry, I was looking at your stamina roll. With 2 on the recon, you definitely notice something, as does Soboslav. It's not a dog. You see people in buildings, but they're not looking at you. They're looking in another direction. And they haven't noticed the gaggle. They haven't noticed you. Then you hear, like, an engine rev, a single loud crack, which is definitely a gunshot, but it's not near you. Tell it's a long way off, and also you can tell it wasn't fired in your direction, which is followed by a burst of machine gun fire, and then silence. Saw people and you heard gunfire. Everyone heard the gunfire, and from the sound of the gunfire, because you've heard enough of it by now, it's further away than the people in the building. The people in the building did not do that shooting. It's pretty much the sound of the gunfire where the depot is, more or less.
He runs around to where the depot is, peeks around the corner.
Okay. Does anyone point out to the Commodore that, hey, there are people in these buildings? All right. Yeah, you know, Commodore, having had these people pointed out to you, that in order for you to get to a position where you can see the depot, the people in the building will be able to see and notice you. So that is your
Okay.
choice, but you are aware of that possibility.
Hmm. Can we take them out silently? See who they are first.
You'd have to make a recon roll to sneak close enough to be able to do that, because at the moment it's nighttime. They are just dark shapes in darkness.
Can he do that?
Yeah, you can make me a recon roll. It will be opposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it. Okay. Oh, hot damn. That was good. All right.
And intelligence plays a big factor in there.
Well, it does when you get close enough to see what's going on. So you managed to sneak up, because I rolled in the background. You managed to sneak up, and they don't notice you. And before you can see them, you actually hear something that tells you something important. Whisper something to one another in what you recognize as Polish. If you get a little bit closer, you can see distinctive grey uniforms of the Polish army, but you can also see a few people in sort of civilian gear with civilian weapons, but also some Russian weapons, some American weapons. And the people in civilian gear appear to have some kind of a badge sewed onto their civilian gear. In this darkness, you can't quite make it out, but you can tell that it's at least the same shape as the badge that the Polish army soldiers are wearing.
Okay. He gets back over. He says they're both they're Polish, so we can get rid of them quickly without being noticed.
What's your plan for that? Is this sneak up and stab them with knives? Is this shoot them? Is this throw a grenade in there? What's your plan?
He tells the commodore, the major, so she can figure out what to do.
All right.
He wants her to let see what she can what she wants to do.
Okay. She gives commands to various different groups of people, and they go off and occupy various buildings. Like everybody gets out the street, and a small team of people start sneaking up the roads to sneak up. Their weapons are raised, but they're clearly trying to get very, very close. That you are given an invitational look, as though if you want to come along, you can come along, but they're not going to make you.
He's just like, I'm probably best off staying here.
All right, I'll do some rolls in the background then. Okay, so they sneak up, they sneak up, they sneak up, and then you're aware of very loud thumping, rattling, banging. Not gunfire banging, but people like smashing into furniture, that kind of a thing. It's not as loud as a gunshot, but this does not go quietly. And eventually it ends, and you see a friendly person sort of lean out of the window and give an all clear signal. Or at least, we have this building kind of signal, but you can also hear a few people speaking loudly in Polish as though the sound of that ruckus has caused other people to turn around and be aware not of exactly where you are, but your general direction.
He's going to continue walking forward.
All
To
right,
see...
you do that.
Yes.
That you're able to get a little further forward, and amusingly, you notice about 12 simultaneous RPG shots erupt from nearby the depot and all hit this one building that starts to collapse, and there are the sounds of people screaming as the building comes down with them in it. And this is then followed by another 12 RPG shots coming out in pretty much volley fire from the depot. It's not difficult to guess that even though you don't have very many people in there, you've got so much in the way of supplies that they're basically just doing RPG, 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 throw it away, which makes them disproportionately effective.
He just looks at the Major and says, well, our troops are handling themselves there.
It's very... okay. Everybody can give me a recon roll. All right, and I'm aware we're approaching session end, so yeah, this will be an interesting one. Most people are unaware of this. Your attention is very much forward on all of those explosions, on the Polish troops, on what's happening. Become very aware that even though your people are managing to hold the base, you're starting to work out that there are lots of Polish people effectively surrounding them. So whilst it will be very difficult for the Poles to take the store, they're not going to be able to get out of the store, and your ability to get into the store is very, very limited. It's a siege situation.
Oh, we're going to be taking him out from our side.
Well, before that happens, you and you alone, Wolf, are aware of a figure emerging from the shadows behind all of you, coming from the same direction as you came. They are
sorry,
not...
I keep being fucking dragged out. I'm going to fucking lose it.
They're not trying to hide. They actually step out of the shadows into like the middle of the street, and they have both of their hands in the air. They are walking towards you. But it's just a shadow.
Let me handle this. He walks over.
Okay. He walks over. All right. Hang on. I need to look up. Okay. As this person walks closer and closer and closer, eventually, this person's hands remain up, but eventually they'll say, and you'll have to forgive my attempt at this, I think that's close enough, Commodore. Oh, well, Privyet. I understand you are suffering a little bit of difficulty. Give me a recon roll, because this person is still encompassed in a lot of shadow. Hang on, let me change tab. Okay, alright. Soboslav, did you follow the Commodore up, or did you stay back?
Yeah,
Commodore?
yeah. Okay. Just assume I did because I keep being dragged off the fucking computer.
Okay. Wolf, you don't notice like anything. You there's just the shadow who's talking to you in heavily accented English. Soboslav went, hang on, used a word that wasn't English and wasn't Polish, and you stare
Russian?
really closely into the darkness, you not only notice Russian, you notice Spetsnaz. As he is just standing there in the middle of the street saying hello.
Do you say? Does she say it? Mumble it out.
Is that Spetsnaz?
I see your eyes are quite astute.
Oh,
Come on. What?
I
Wow,
aggressively nudge. I aggressively nudge the Commodore to get his attention over there.
he goes. He looks at him. He's looking at him.
Okay, does he
goes,
say anything?
He goes. So, why did you go and sign up with your lovely little friends?
Sign up with what friends? He seems very casual about all this.
Already know you're already working with the Free City.
He scoffs. No, that is not quite how this. I am here to help. And help our Polish friends at the same time. And I will confess, help ourselves.
Go
Hmm.
on.
See, this is going to end very, very, very bloodily. I am aware that you have already taken excessive casualties. Not much escapes our notice. However, if you attempt to storm the Polish position, your casualties will be even higher. Polish attempt to storm the depot, they will succeed, but at a high cost in life, and they will risk damaging and destroying much of the vital supplies within. And all of this will have been pointless. At the moment, both of your forces are at one another's throats. None of you will trust what the others say, and you are all consumed by hatred. Understandably. Negotiation between you is unlikely to be successful. However, whilst we are not allies of Krakow by any means, myself and a few colleagues have been permitted entry for now.
I'll tell you this
If
for free.
all well, he stops when you interrupt him, and he just lets you speak.
If they continue laying siege to that facility right there, the cascade effect will be greater than you would anticipate. Not only would these two forces be wiped out, but the whatever's the plague will be even far greater to the surrounding neighborhoods.
As
He
was the
chuckles.
presumed plausibility that
Oh, you were saying something?
I almost thought
Oh.
I was randomly disconnected. Sorry.
Okay.
In that depot, there's a chemical weapon that, if mishandled, there would be a very high likelihood that it could be released from just beyond the cellar of the depot. Which could
He
most
chuckles
likely
and
want
says,
more needless death at this point.
"You make my point for me. You
Hey,
would be wise to allow us to assist you in acting as a third party to negotiate a settlement of this situation for a cut, of course. If you do not wish to use our services as a mediator, then I will leave and I will let you all kill one another."
See, the only reason why they're here. Now, I'll tell you why they're only here. It's because of you.
He looks bemused when you say that, and says, "What possible things have led you to that conclusion?"
See, number one, attacking our convoy. Number two, you originally wanted to have what was in there. Number three, by doing this, you're actually wanting to be a third party in order to go and get what you want. See, me and the priest agree on one thing. By trying to kill each other is not the way you want to go around. And quite frankly, I would have been able to talk to yous to negotiate with yous about some of the food, but since you wanted to go around this way, I don't think we're going to be coming to a agreeable settlement now. But who
There
knows?
is the possibility.
You had
Consider
a
it
bigger
so.
option. You had an option more greater if you didn't attack us. But
Looks at you like you're talking nonsense,
Oh,
and says, "We didn't attack you. The Polish did that all on their own."
oh,
besides, the Soviets are far much north and northeastern of us. Like,
Draco, we both understand that if they get rid of us, they're still gonna have to deal with the Russians. You know that, and if they have to deal with the Russians, they aren't gonna be able to combat them. That's a bigger problem right there.
and then
He'll
still
shrug.
throw more bodies into a bloody meat grinder, which would still lower amount of people who could actually handle the Russians.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to go for? Just go full absolutes and just have everyone bloody die into a. God, fucking.
See, Commander, I would have been more happier to work with yous to get the Russians out so we can go back home and yous can have your country back. But
You
see,
say that to a Russian. There are no Poles present.
There isn't. Oh my bloody god.
So the Spetsnaz,
Just.
and you can tell from his insignia that he's a sergeant. Spetsnaz sergeant just looks again weirdly at you, and then turns to Soboslaw and says, "What is this one saying?"
Listen,
so he's a Russian.
Yes, he's a bloody Russian.
He goes,
Yes. Bloody hell. Have you not. Are you that dumb? Has the
Yeah.
psychosis completely taken over your mind to the point you're starting to hallucinate everything to have a Polish insignia? Truly! God. Bloody hell.
Yeah. You are currently talking to Russian special forces.
Yes!
oh,
And
he goes,
poor Soboslaw is slowly just fucking losing it from sheer insanity.
he goes,
Yes. This sergeant is a Spetsnaz. Yes. So
Well, you see,
we could possibly, perhaps, find a way and not go into another bloody meat grinder like the First and Second World Wars, just like the war that led us to be trapped in this place. So please, could we try some bloody diplomacy until I bloody grab this AK-47, point it to the rib of my head, and pull the bloody trigger?
I think maybe I should come back in an hour or two.
No, it's fine. It's fine, I believe.
I think he's having a mental strain because of the what they've done.
No, it isn't.
The way. I'm not interested in your little discussions amongst yourselves.
Let's hear out your offer.
The offer is simple. I cannot guarantee success, but my people are known, Krakow, and are tolerated. And you and the Poles will just kill one another if left to your own devices. We can go in there and attempt to negotiate a settlement. Nobody needs to lose any more lives. Everybody, including ourselves, will get a commission for our work, gets a portion of what's in the supply base, and everyone leaves richer and with no more blood lost. The alternative is for you and the Poles to both demand it all, share with no one, and kill each other.
He goes back and
to resolve this.
He walks over to Corvinus and to Draco, and he goes, resolve this and now and get it done. I really don't care about what the Major wants. I just want to get the heck out of here. Deal.
All right. We'll take your offer.
Yeah, we'll take your offer.
There's no need for blood to be shed anymore.
Everybody can give me a recon roll. Just a little one.
Because he really doesn't want to.
Okay.
No,
this is abusing.
Soboslav is just losing it from the lack of common sense.
No, you should not freak out at this, but none of you, because you fail a recon roll, none of you notice this, and you also didn't pass the earlier recon roll by enough to notice this. Which is, once you do the whole deal thing, another figure comes out of the shadows. This one seemingly dressed in like camouflage gear, but not like full-on special forces gear. And they walk up, and it's a dark-haired woman with spectacles. And then to your left, there's a slight noise as a fully equipped Spetsnaz agent just emerges from a pile of rubble. And they were in a location that if this negotiation went south, they'd just sweep you all with a machine gun and you wouldn't stand a chance. And they were like 5 meters away from you. And they were just there and you did not see them. And they just stand up in a kind of like, hello, I was here all along kind of a way. And who knows how many more might be hiding who didn't reveal themselves at that moment. And that is where we will end today's session, with the beginning of the negotiations.
Yeah.